Alright, here's a bit of an overview of my updated pedal board here in 2020. I'm in my middle pickup selector here with just a light morning glory on, and I'm here on my preset here on the Iridium. This is just the dry signal here, and it's a Vox cab, I believe. Vox amp with a bright cab. That's the dry signal. Now, if I fade this in, I get the wet signal as well. So this is actually set up as a wet, dry, dry, wet rig so that I can record 4 inputs into my interface if I want to. There's some different cab options if I want to get really spicy. You know, I can add some meat straight. But my preset is much lighter than that and allows me to just play. The room on the Iridium is very nice. Sounds like a room. But I don't need much room if I'm using wet effects, which sounds like this. That allows me to record my wet effects into Ableton separate from my dry, obviously. However, most of the time I'm not running 4 inputs, and so I will switch it up. Okay, so now I have run the out of my last reverb of the chain, stereo, TRS into the Iridium so that it is last in my chain. And it's the same as running into an amp out of everything. This is the way I most often use it when live. It sounds like so my chain starts with straight into this drop tune pedal, into my compressor, into this POG, into the double barrel, into the 1981, into my fuzz. Here it goes into a splitter, and the splitter can go straight dry to this if I choose to do wet, dry, dry, wet. But right now it's just going straight through. So it comes out of this into this analog delay, which I don't use very often, but sometimes use, and that goes into the Deco. The Deco comes mono in and stereo out. So stereo out goes into this doubler pedal. When I turn this on, it doubles my signal and gives me a wide stereo image. It's off right now. Run stereo through this volume pedal, into my timeline delay, into the Immerse, which is before the Bigsky, which ultimately now runs into the Iridium. Sounds really good. So let me just demonstrate a few of these pedals. There is G, and I can drop tune. Tracks pretty well. That's what that does. Works well for songs in an open tuning. Default POG, I have some octave up, some octave down. This preset I have straight octave down, so this one is a bit of an octave up, so that I can, you know, do swells and things like. That's mostly what I use that for. I leave the second gain stage of the Morning Glory, the left side here, on a lot of the time. Meaty. If I need more meat, I use this side. 1981 is a boutique wrap. So it sounds like. That's what that sounds like. Fuzz is a fuzz. It's fun. Sometimes I'll do things like this live. Gets to be fun with the reverb. So the Deco is awesome. This I have on a bit of a chorus set. This side adds a boost with some saturation. All of this sounds really good. A bit of reverb, so I can go. Love the sounds I can get out of that, including an auto flange, which is like fun little feature. My doubler pedal will take my image and I use that the most when I'm playing rhythm. But for leads, it works better. Because it allows my ping pong dual delay to be outside the actual lead in terms of the stereo image. Okay, here in the timeline I have a dual delay. Nice slow 16th pattern off of a quarter clock in. Here I have a dotted eighth. Pretty standard. In this bank, I have a quarter, straight quarter, and then here I have, so for songs that are in 3, so let's say it's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the pattern that I get out of that is so it's a slow ping pong off of that. So most of the time I stay here in my dual. But, I have a super wet. For more lead-driven songs, I have a hall. And then I have a drone one. If I really want to go. What I use this for most of the time is I keep it on a kill dry reverb, which allows me to most often I use it like this. The only other things worth noting are that I have a stutter switch. This guy down here is a tap for this. This is driving tempo of the timeline, and it has an external MIDI input. It can also drive several other pedals. I'm only using it to drive the timeline right now because it's the only one that I'm using with an external clock. So I just tap a quarter in like this, or if I set presets on here, I can switch my plug to the other plug and use this to advance the presets. The only other thing that's worthy of note is that Bigsky has a freeze function, so if I hit a note and then hold down the preset button, it'll hold that note. However, I've added some MIDI programming with an external source and a foot switch. And that's about all that. The only other thing I could really show is just a little bit of... I like this analog delay. And that's about it.